Introducing YouTube memberships, a fun way to support the channel while getting some exclusive perks. Click the join button to become a member now and get benefits like badges next to your name on videos, behind-the-scenes photos, advantages during the live trivia game, discounts on merchandise, private one-on-one video chats, the ability to request future video topics, and exclusive 8 to 10 minute videos on the history of the NFL. And now, on with our feature presentation. December 16, 2023. It's week 15 of the NFL season, and as we're wrapping up the year, we've got a critical AFC battle on our hands over at Lucas Oil Stadium between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. Both of these teams enter right in the thick of things in the playoff picture at 7-6, but for the main team in our story, the Steelers, this is a must-win game for them, as if they don't win this one, their season is over. Tensions are already high in Pittsburgh, and understandably so, after 2 straight losses to 2 of the worst teams in football in the Arizona Cardinals and the New England Patriots, where they went from 7-4 and in a very good spot to 7-6 with their season in grave danger. The offense has looked atrocious lately, with Mitch Trubisky the new quarterback after an injury to second-year man Kenny Pickett. The defense has looked awful in recent weeks, and if they don't right the ship here, then their playoff hopes are pretty much done, and their odds of having their first losing season since 2003, 2 decades ago, increased tremendously. And the bad news for Pittsburgh is that after jumping out to a 13-0 lead, everything falls apart, as the Steelers allow 24 straight to trail 24-13. They're down by 2 scores. There's still time to work with here late in the third quarter. Heck, the Bengals, just a few hours ago, erased a 14-point deficit, and we saw what the Titans did on Monday night, so anything is possible, but you have to get points on this drive and move the ball, or else you're in serious trouble. And after the Steelers get down to Indy's 29-yard line facing 3rd and 4, pretty much guaranteed to get 3 points and cut it to a 1-score game, or at least have a chance to, Mitch Trubisky throws an incomplete pass. However, the Steelers get called for offensive holding. Instead of declining the penalty to bring up 4th down, Colts head coach Shane Steichen does the smart thing and accepts the penalty to bring up 3rd and 14, pushing the Steelers back and making it a tougher field goal if this team can get a stop. Sure enough, the Colts get that stop when Mitch Trubisky just throws the ball deep out of bounds in the area of George Pickens. Time for the field goal unit to come out. Not the best of drives, but considering the fact that you hadn't scored in your last 5 drives, to at least have a chance to come away with 3 points is something. A field goal by Boswell here, well within his wheelhouse, makes it a 1-score game. So with that in mind, let's see what Boswell can do here. You're punting the football. Despite the fact that this is a makeable field goal, and you know Boswell can hit it from here. Despite the fact that you're in a dome. Despite the fact that you need to score on this drive. You're seriously punting the football. Why are you punting the football? Mike Tomlin, why did you send your punter on the field? Do you not trust one of the most accurate kickers ever to hit from 56 yards? Why are you punting the freaking football?
Instead, you're going to give it back. Straight up in the air. Downs calls for it. Fair catch.
Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something that look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something that look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin. Plain and simple, this is a Steeler team that is poorly coached. Tomlin's done some good things with the Steelers, but right now, this team is a poorly coached, poorly run football team. There's a lack of discipline. The effort shown by some players on the field without any consequence whatsoever is appalling. And the in-game management is questionable to say the least. It's highly likely, looking at Pittsburgh's schedule, that this Steelers team will end the season below 500 for the first time since 2003, and Tomlin will have his first losing record as a head coach. And with decisions like this that he's making during a game, it's not hard to see why that's the case, because not taking the field goal here and trying to make it a 1-score game is inexcusable. So with that being said, let's take a look at why punting the ball from the 39-yard line instead of trying to hit a field goal from 56 yards out is a really bad idea. And look, with something like this, it all depends on whether or not your kicker can make it. If you've got a kicker that can hit from 56 yards out, then not kicking is a dumb decision. If you've got a kicker that cannot hit from that distance, however, then you would be a fool to try this. So I guess here's my problem with punting the ball here. You know what Chris Boswell's range is, or you should know at least as a head coach. You know what his maximum distance is. If you knew that going in, and you knew that a field goal would make it a one-score game, then facing 3rd and 14 at the 39-yard line, if you were never going to have Boswell try the field goal here because you didn't have confidence in him to make the kick, then why on 3rd down are you trying a play where the primary route is a fly route? Why not try a run, or a screen, or a slant, or something higher percentage that maybe won't get you the first down, but will at the very least get you a shot at 3 points? Why are you trying a play down the sideline with Mitch freaking Trubisky, one of the worst deep ball passers in football, and a quarterback that you tried going deep with last week in a crucial situation for some reason, instead of getting a few yards, and it led to similar results? You can learn more about that by clicking the card in the upper right corner. Did you not learn your lesson at all here? Did you not? But, okay. You're punting the ball at the 39 after that horrible decision because you don't think Boswell can hit from 56 yards out. Even though Boswell was running onto the field at the start, and you're waving him off for some reason, your logic is that Boswell cannot hit from 56 yards out, so you're not going to try it. After the game, Tomlin was asked about his decision, and his explanation for why he didn't try this field goal, and instead had Presley Harvin punt the ball, which predictably led to no flipping of the field whatsoever, was baffling. Said Tomlin, "Not a lot had gone our way at that juncture that made me feel good about banging a field goal. Particularly on the down before. I thought we might take a shot or check it down, and we ended up throwing the ball out of bounds. And so, I didn't like that field positioning." Alright, let me get this straight. Number one, the reason that you didn't try a field goal here was because everything else had gone wrong. Even though, one, none of that had to do with Boswell, and two, this was a completely independent event. You didn't try a field goal here for that reason? It wasn't because Boswell was injured, or he wasn't hitting from that distance in warm-ups or anything like that? It was because the vibes are off? It's like saying I'm not going to eat dinner today because it's sunny outside. How does that make any sense? They're two independent events. But to be fair, maybe Boswell can't hit from 56 yards out. I mean, Tomlin knows his kicker best. Maybe he can't hit from that distance. Because to find the last time that Boswell hit a field goal from that far out, you've got to go all the way back to, oh, I don't know, last freaking week! Seriously, last week, on Thursday Night Football, not even 10 days ago, in the game against the New England Patriots, you had Boswell line up for a 56-yard field goal in freezing cold weather at Heinz Field, one of the most notoriously hard stadiums for a kicker to kick in. And he drilled it! He absolutely drilled it! Boswell got you 3 points here. So from that same distance, in a dome, mind you, so a significantly easier kick, you're not going to try this just because you had a bad feeling? That's like me having a wide-open three-point attempt in basketball with no one on me, despite the fact that I'm an awesome three-point shooter, and I pass up the shot because the vibes were off. You have a man that can hit from that distance and is giving you evidence that he can hit from that far out, and you, Mike Tomlin, are just going to pass that up even though you need to cut into a one-possession game however you can, and you have a shot to do that here. And it wasn't just that one kick that Boswell had success with. On his career, Boswell is 29 for 36 from 50-plus yards, hitting about 81% of his field goals in that range. This is a man who is extremely accurate from 50-plus yards, and has made many kicks in the past from that 56-plus yard range. He's missed just one kick from that range this year, going 5 for 6, and that miss was from 61 yards out on a wet, horrible weather day against Jacksonville. He's been money throughout his entire career from that range, and this would have been the easiest kick from such distance he ever had in his life, seeing as it's in a dome with no wind or no cold weather making the football feel like a rock. And you're passing that up because of reasons that I can't quite explain or comprehend. You were playing scared, and you played so scared that you decided that passing up this kick was better than trying it, because if Boswell missed, you'd be giving up good field position. And that is true. If you do miss this kick, you would be giving up good field position. I can't deny that. But you know what's more important than field position? Scoring points! Scoring some freaking points! You're down by 11! You have a chance to score, and a good chance at that! You've got to do it! Plain and simple, you've got to do it! The best case scenario with a field goal, and an extremely makeable one at that, is that you make it a one-score game, and you're right back in this with time running out. The best case scenario with the punt is that it's a two-score game, and you still need to do a ton to get back in this thing, especially with how bad your defense has played over the last 2 quarters. Is getting an extra 30 yards of field position or so, in the best case scenario on a punt, really worth sacrificing 3 points, especially when points are at a premium and have been hard to come by because the 13 points you scored have come off a great field position? Seeing as the touchdown you scored, the second one you scored, was from the 1 yard line, you got the ball at the 1 on the block punt, you can't move the ball, you have a chance at scoring, you can't score, you're gonna pass this up right here? Do you not think that your kicker? What are you doing? If your kicker can't hit from 56 in a dome, he should not be on an NFL roster. But we know that's not true with Boswell, because he can absolutely hit from that distance. You passed up the field goal for field position reasons, even though you needed points, and even though you absolutely could have gotten points. Make it make sense. Seriously, make it make sense, because it just doesn't at all. I can't wrap my head around Tomlin's logic here, and I'm sure that I'm not alone in this, because Mike Tomlin, I don't know what he's doing this season, but it's been atrocious. It's been apparent for a while now, but especially after the game between these two teams behind me right here, it is really clear that Mike Tomlin cannot coach this football team anymore. He just can't. The offense is going to have its worst season since 1970. The defense looks atrocious as of late. The in-game management skills are terrible by Tomlin. Besides this play, you had the end of the first half where he went way too quickly on the 2-minute drill for no reason, and then the lack of urgency in the fourth quarter down by 14 points with 7 minutes left, going with huddle and taking it all the way down on the play clock. That made no sense at all. You have the lack of effort given by players and receivers on run blocking. You've got everything else under the sun, playing down to the level of competition. Probably going to lose 6 straight to end the season. This is bad right now in Pittsburgh. This is very bad. I know the Steelers don't fire coaches. I know they've only had 3 coaches since the man walked on the moon. It's impressive the consistency and stability that they've had, but it might be time. Mike Tomlin cannot do this anymore. He just can't. So what do we learn from all of this? If you have a kicker that can hit from 56 yards out, and you have the chance to kick a field goal from 56 yards out, then have your kicker try that field goal. Playing scared because of completely independent events that had nothing to do with the man you need to count on is how you lose football games. Plain and simple. And it's how you lose a football team. Field position is not as important as the main objective of the game, which is to score points. And if you have a realistic chance to score points and cut it to a one-score game, then you do it. If you have a kicker that is made from that distance this season in way worse conditions, then odds are your kicker can reach from that distance in ideal conditions. Because most kickers in this league, especially at Boswell's caliber, can hit from 56 in a dome. Playing scared when down by 2 scores late in the ballgame is playing to lose. Expecting the doomsday scenario of missing and everything going wrong when you've had no reason to doubt your kicker throughout the season based on prior history is one of the most cowardly things you can do as a head coach. Way to have faith in your guys. And if you pass up a realistic chance at points when you're losing, to call a play that, in its absolute best case scenario, will not result in any points, then your coaching needs to be seriously reevaluated, and your future with the team needs to come into question. Because when all of these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Get your official Jaguar Gear 9 merchandise by going to jj9shop.com, and be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out a lot. Join me every Wednesday night where we'll play NFL Trivia for cash prizes at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. To learn more about the history of college football, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 8. To learn more about the history of Major League Baseball, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 7. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. See how you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.